Hello and welcome to Special Olympics Minnesota's Centralized Accounting Walkthrough. In this video, I will go through all of the different components of our centralized accounting page that can be found in the coaches portal, as well as just kind of go over what you can use this for and how the finance chair in your delegation can best utilize this part of our website. So to get to the centralized accounting page, you click on the coaches tab at the top when you're at SOMN.org. Scroll down and click visit the coach portal. And then you'll see on this tab here, centralized accounting. This is where everything that you need for this is. So you might have the question, what is centralized accounting? Essentially, it's where we track all of the incoming money as well as outgoing expenses for your delegation's account. Before we get into logging in with centralized account, we'll just go over who has access, and that's somebody who is your delegation's finance chair. Perhaps you have an LSMT or leadership sports management team and somebody delegated as the finance chair. They should be the only one with access to your delegation centralized account. At the beginning of setting up your centralized account, when you're setting up a new delegation, perhaps you'll be having that finance chair complete the financial responsibility form. That can be found under the resources tab. If you click on financial and fundraising forms and then financial responsibility form, and it looks like this. You can complete it online. Otherwise, we do have paper copies as well. So you'll notice if you want to go to centralized accounting and you click on any of these tabs besides login, it's going to say, sorry, you don't have access to this page until you've logged in. So that's what I'm going to do first is click login. Here's where you'll type in your username and password that has been given to the finance chair. We have a kind of a test account just to showcase all the different things you can do in your centralized account. If you do have login or password help, just email your program manager, Ashley Skripik, as there should only be the finance chair that does request this information. Many delegations can keep their own book, if you will, on expenses and revenue. If you would like more information on that, reach out to your program manager for ideas on how to keep an updated book with that as well. All right, so I'm going to log in here to our little test account. You'll see this is kind of the main menu dashboard. So what the main menu is, you'll see a listing similar to a bank account of all of your delegation's activity for the last 18 months with the ending balance on your account as well. So that is right here, and it's updated just a few days ago. You do have an option to download activity from the main menu. So you can do download page where you can have it downloaded to a CSV file. You can do this on the all revenue processed page as well. So you can do download page here. So I'm going to go back to the main menu. But if you do choose to do that download page, it can be helpful for teams if you do manage your finances in a separate program, or if you want to do any sort of analysis on your finances. I will note that this is not a live website. The data is updated weekly, typically on Fridays. And because of this, if you don't see something on your team's page that was from the last week or so, it might have been received and processed, but just not updated on the website yet, just due to the nature and timing of the website. We typically say it can take 2 weeks from being submitted to showing up on the website. So again, this is that main menu page. You'll see these are kind of some typical expenses, some revenue that our delegations might have. So perhaps travel for paying a bus company right here. You have a positive deposit here from shared revenue. So perhaps from Polar Plunge, $400. We've got apparel and uniforms, facility costs, games fees, competition fees for winter games right here. and then some more revenue such as gifts from individuals and then from fundraising events. So you can see kind of the difference. That all adds up to our balance of $350. All right, let's go into the all revenue processed page. So again, just some more examples of what might be seen here. On this page, these are the actual checks that we have processed at the state office and then added to your account. Here's where you can see the actual names of who wrote those checks, and then the breakdown of each check is that main menu page that only shows the deposit as a total. So these were submitted on 2/29, and then some more here on 1/15. Going over to the revenue report submitted page, you'll see that the revenue submitted is a record of all reports you have ever submitted through the portal. However, it doesn't mean that they have always been received by the state office. So the purpose of this is so you can track what things you have entered already. So nice big check there, submitted by Mounds View High School individual. Moving on to the expense reports submitted page. This is where expense reports that you have submitted will show up. You can download from here again if anything is needed for your own bookkeeping. Now here's a revenue form. Here's where you can fill out this form when prompted. And you can also add in the checks here if you want. However, the actual check and revenue report should be mailed together to the state office to ensure that the deposit is handled correctly. So you do need to still send in the checks to the state office, but if you want to add in here for your tracking sake, you can do that, and you can fill out that revenue form to be mailed in as well. So yeah, so that's what that create revenue form page is. Once you've done this, it'll show up in the revenue submitted page until it is processed, and then it'll show up in the revenue process page once we are able to process it. Note if donors want a receipt of the donation for their records, they can email Nancy Paradise. Finally, the expense form or the expense report form. Again, you'll fill out this information when prompted to do so. A new addition to this page is right here, the upload receipt file, where you choose file, you click on that. You can now attach a receipt to the actual expense form instead of sending in receipts separately. If you choose to attach a receipt to the expense form, no other action is required of you to get the request processed. Besides submitting that, and if you're not able to or do not want to attach the receipt, you'll then need to send the expense report and the receipts to the office before that request can be processed. Just a reminder, keep in mind that all program managers approve all of your expenses. So obviously spend your team funds wisely. Just a couple of reminders of some do's and don'ts for expenses. So if we go back to that main menu page, you'll see some of the typical expenses we talked about. So travel, apparel and uniforms, facility costs, your games fees. Just a reminder, we can't spend that money on gift cards. No coaches' gifts can be over $25. No alcohol purchases. If you do have any purchases that are questionable, please reach out to your program manager beforehand. So yeah, that's the general overview of utilizing our centralized accounting dashboard. The last thing we just didn't go over is simply the log out page. But if you have any questions as far as how to find anything on this page or how to utilize the centralized accounting page, please reach out to your program manager and we'd be happy to help. Thanks.